Morning everyone. Apologies a bit late. I'm going to do the latest course report. Reason it's a bit late is because it's silly season. What I mean by that is the grass is growing at a silly rate, so bums on seats time. So I've not had a lot of time lately, but I've managed to get a little window this morning, so I'm going to shoot the course report, let you know what's going on. So we'll go through our normal subjects and let you know really how the course has transitioned from winter into sort of spring. Nice time of year really in that sense. Starts looking like a golf course again. But obviously we're touching on the weather. We all know how bad that's been lately. The last couple of weeks not too bad, but the last 3 months have been arguably the worst season I've ever known. It's been relentless. So massive amount of rain. It's going to cause us a few issues with the dead bits in the fairways. Not a lot we can do about it, but hopefully it's going to dry up now, and where the growth's kicked in, they'll start to fill out. But yeah, the weather's been really bad. It gets everyone down, us as well as you. But hopefully we've turned a corner now, and we're actually going to see a little bit of summer weather. It'd be nice. It's quite cool at the minute, windy coming in from the north, but dry. That's the main thing. So I'm hopeful. As I say, hopefully we've turned a corner. So I'm going to go through my normal subjects. Obviously, if you've got any questions, give us a shout, comments box, or see me when you see me on the course. All right then. Cheers. So for the green section of this month's report, I'm standing on the 18th green now, and I'm quite pleased with the greens. We did get a bit of disease after maintenance week and sort of bubbled up under the sand, but that's we applied a fungicide and a bit of feed, and it's sort of all grown back out now with not too much scarring. Greens are still being cut 4mm. Normally go a little bit lower when when the season really kicks off. But they're probably stimping at around 9 at the minute, which is really nice. They're quite, they're quite smooth. And in general, the greens are pretty good at really. Moving forward, obviously we've got Masters coming up in a couple of weeks, so we'll probably give them a little verti cut and another little dressing before then, just to sort of smooth them out a little bit. But in general, I'm quite happy with the greens. For the time of year and the weather we've had, they're actually performing pretty well. So as I said before, silly season. I'm standing on the 18th fairway, and you can see we've got some nice definition back now. Obviously the rough is growing quite fast now, so we're out having to cut that every week. We've got obviously the semi cut that goes around the outside of the fairways and the fairway itself. So it all needs cutting regularly now. It's growing fast, but it is giving us definition. It is giving us a golf course back. And in general, I'm really actually quite pleased with how the course is starting to look now. As we touched on before, because of the bad weather, we have got a few of these kicking around now. Hopefully these will grow out. We do have the overseeding program, as we do every year, sort of early May. So hopefully that'll fill some of them back out. But the nature of our course, with sort of lumpy bumpy fairways, it does hold water when it gets too wet, and obviously it has been too wet. So unfortunately we've had quite a bit of water sitting in some of these little holes we have on our fairways. But outside of those little holes, the grass coverage is really good, and the course is actually looking quite nice. But it is, like I say, growing fast. As we cut it, it continues to grow. So, and that's right across the board. And little things like around the trees, I'll try and zoom in, but might not be able to see too much. But around some of the trees where we can't get in there with a rough mower, it obviously needs trimming. So them sort of little things we try and keep on top of. They're very time consuming, but transition from winter to spring, summer has well and truly begun, and on the whole we're doing pretty good. just want to touch on the rough for this year, the long grass as we call it. So just for clarity, we have the fairway cut. We then have one band of semi that goes around the fairway. We then have what we call the cut rough, and then we have what we call the long grasses. Now the long grasses this year, due to the amount of moisture that's in the ground, will be thick. There isn't a machine that we can use that will thin this out, so we've really got two options: as it is, or cut it all away. I think most people are reluctant, including myself, to cut it down because it offers great definition. It saves a lot of time mowing, a lot of money in fuel consumption and man hours, and it looks really nice. The negative side to that is if your ball goes in it, it can be very, very tough, and this year it will be tough because, like I say, there's so much moisture in the ground, it's going to grow up thick. Back in October we cut and collect all these areas, and this is to try and reduce the amount of seed heads falling from the grass to thicken it out. But with the weather we've had, it's inevitable that it's going to be thick. So I'm standing in an area here, and you can already see quite thick clumps of grass in the long grasses. So all I can say really is, if your ball does go in these areas, please keep an eye on where your ball does actually go. I do see it quite regularly that people hit their balls into this rough, and when they get up here to look for it, they're not even close as to where the ball actually goes. I don't want to teach people to suck eggs, but you need to look exactly where your ball goes. Give yourself a half a chance of finding it. Player provisional to help speed up play, and padding back across. There is about 90 yards of cut grass, so we are fair in that sense. There's not any carries anymore really off the tee boxes, they've all been removed. But just a little pre-warning this year, until it gets dry and warm, and this browns off, the rough this year is going to be tough, and there's absolutely nothing we can do about it except cut it all down. And I, for one, and I know there's many people with this same view, we don't want that to happen. So little pre-warning for the long grasses this year. They're going to be a little bit thick due to the moisture in the ground and the weather we've had. It's out of our control, so just help yourselves by playing a provisional and really keeping an eye on where the ball goes. So I'm standing on the newly constructed 13th tee. As you can see, tee itself is all built, all turfed, and is now being mowed. So we're getting there on this one. This will be open on Masters weekend, so another couple of weeks. But it's turned out really well. Really pleased how it's progressed, and it'd be a big plus for this hole. If I turn around and face the hole and zoom in a little bit, you can actually see the fairway. You see where your balls land. You've got better visibility, better playability, so it's a big plus for the 13. On top of that, the old tee struggled with a bit of light. Very dark this corner. Didn't get a lot of growth in this corner either. So we've cleared out all these trees down here and the other side as well to create better airflow, better light. So everything down is a big plus. Still got a few little things to do. Obviously, as you know, as I've said a few times now, this course report is silly season, so we're concentrating on mowing. But the pathway needs to be extended up to the hill slightly. This removal of this old tee down here, that will go, and that will become path as well, and a turning circle for buggies. We've still got a little bit of timber work to do on the stairs, handrail, that type of thing. But the irrigation's all working now down here. Obviously we've had a new pond dug, as you can see there if I zoom in. That's to catch a lot of the surface water we get down here in the winter. So I do envisage this being dry in the summer, but somewhere for the water to collect and sit in the winter. Over the next few years as well, we're going to run some drains down from the hill and the wet areas, so it all ends up in this collection point down here. And also these trees, in the next few years we're going to clear all of them out all the way back up to the 12th green, so that's going to be a big plus. We did start rotating some of the worn areas that we created with a digger and a dumper, and obviously in front of the tee box here, these have all been rotated. These are all going to get seeded, tracked in and grown back to grass in the coming weeks. But the tee itself finished, just in case to get the grass down to the right height now, finished the steps off, but really pleased our 13's come on, and it'll be a big plus, good addition for the 13th hole coming forward. So that's the end of the course report for this month. To summarise, as I've said a few times, it's silly season, so all the lads are bums on seats really, trying to keep on top of the growth. It's all kicked off. Obviously we've got lots of things still to do, always busy, green staff, and you know, we've shown you the 13th tee. That would be good when that's up and running. The long grasses we've covered. There's lots of little things that, you know, members don't necessarily see. Irrigation, for example, that's already caused us massive issues this year. Quite a few bursts. You'll see you probably would have seen a few holes being dug out of the course. That's an old system now. We've got electrical issues with that as well, so it's not talking to the computer. So that all takes time. But you know, we're getting through it. We've just taken on 2 new green staff. Obviously we've lost 2 green staff to take on 2 new green staff, but so we're still at the same numbers, but so they're still learning as well. It's a busy time for us, busy time. A few bunkers that we've sort of changed the sand in. 17's now finished and open. We've put the grey sand in, a few other little bunkers, still got a few more to do. And there's lots of little jobs as well, just kicking around that we're trying to get on top of as and when we can. But obviously mowing takes priority at the minute, and until that calms down, yeah, that's going to be obviously our main thing. So hopefully the weather plays ball over the next sort of few weeks and months. We've got the Masters coming up, as I said, in a couple of weeks. We've got 2 big county events. One big county event in July, and then an England golf event at the end of July. So that's really good for the club. Be some good players down here for that, as well as our big club competitions like Club Champs, Masters, President's Putter. So lots coming up, lots of prep to do, lots of planning to do. But on the whole, the lads are working really hard. I'm really pleased with their efforts, and of course it's looking nice. So that's the end of this month's course report. Any questions, put them in the comments box. As I said last month, I've managed to disable that now where people couldn't comment, but you can now. So any comments, put them in there, go through the office or see me out in the course. Okay then, that's the end of the report. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.